Well, we're already starting off laughing, and I guess it'll continue. But welcome to another edition of Printing's Alive, my podcast with me, your host, Warren Werbitt, who did not get a lot of sleep last night. So if you're a little slap happy today, you know why. Today we have a very distinguished guest. We have Jessica DeCola with us. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Thanks for asking.
Sleep deprived.
Always. So much to talk about today, just who knows where to begin, right? So, okay, first thing we'll just talk about is, let's talk about Sheet for Brains, because that's something that it's about a year and a half ago that you, and 2 years ago already.
2 years, yeah.
Okay, and unfortunately your three other co-founders are not here, but too bad for them. So you get the spotlight.
We're on a planning call right now that I'm missing to hang out with you, Warren.
This call's better, because now you get to tell all of my million listeners around the world, about Sheets for Brains and what it is and why you guys created it.
Okay. This is my second go round on your podcast, so thank you for having me back. And the first time I was with my three other co-founders from Sheet for Brains. So about 2 years ago, myself, Dave Rosendahl from Mindfire, Chris Min from Digital Inc., and John Bailey from Precision Proco all kind of came together after a D-Scoop. John Bailey got up on stage. He gave this speech that felt very unscripted. And he talked about the challenges in business, but also personal life and how those overlap. And it was just a very authentic and impactful speech that he gave. And it kind of reminded us the reason why we have these communities is to kind of lean on one another. But we don't talk about the hard sheet, right? We don't talk about the anxiety and the stress and the lack of sleep that you're getting and being a working mom or a working dad or trying to run a business, and all these things manifest in ways that impact us greatly. And so we created a space to facilitate conversations that have to do with that. Resilience and leadership, all of these different pillar themes. We try to have these quarterly webinars where we bring in experts like either a psychologist to talk about PTSD or talk about, women in leadership and what that feels like. And we've been to a handful of physical events and have had speakers come to talk about different topics, and we kind of lean into what people are sharing with us and kind of run with that. But no, it's become it's a passion project for the four of us, and I think we sometimes get a little bit more out of it than the people that are in the sessions, selfishly. But our kind of vision or mission statement, I suppose, is if we can reach if one person cannot feel alone, or if one person can feel a little bit more settled in their thoughts because they have a community to lean on that understands what they're going through. Because let's be honest, if you don't work in the print industry, you don't get it. I mean, I try to explain it to people, and it's like, you really don't, unless you're in it, you don't know what peak season feels like, and you don't know what it feels like to manage these high pressure, I need this yesterday type of situations in this world. And so it's a space, and we're super proud of it. And it's accelerating, I think, faster than we know what to do with, because we all have full-time, normal day jobs. We're doing these things on, after hours, and I'm sitting on my porch at night with a glass of wine and, writing press releases, and, Chris is working at midnight on social content. And so there's a lot that goes into it, but we recognize the importance of it. So it fuels us to keep moving.
No, I think it's awesome. The first time that I saw it and then went on to one of the Zoom meetings, webinars, whatever we want to call it. Actually, before that, I just think it's so important. From a personal experience, I've been dealing with just a lot of shit for the last 5-6 years that is above the normal shit I've used to deal with. And I actually got someone that I've been working with the last 5 years, and now it's just once a month, but I won't give them up because it's like a safe place to go. And from it, I've then started to realize and hear from more people around me, or notice more people around me and hear what they're saying, even though they weren't saying or asking for some type of help or somewhere to talk. So, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I just think mental health in general right now has been put in a place where it's okay to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to destigmatize it, right? It still exists. And and if you think about, so we were recently at D-Scoop in Denver, and we had a panel discussion, and it was myself, and we had 3 sessions, mind you. We had a keynote speaker come and talk about resilience and leadership. We had a workshop where we had smaller tables, and we had these various questions that we asked about, about the keynote that our keynote led. And then we had a panel discussion. And The panel was myself. It was Francis McMahon, CMO of Tech Now, formerly Canon, Glenn Packham, who was our keynote speaker, and then this woman, Mackenzie Griffin. She just recently graduated from Fair State University. She got a job with PageWorks up in Michigan. So she's like fresh blood. Like she is like next generation, fresh blood, like right out of the gates. Okay. And we're having this conversation on stage about just opening up in therapy. And there's one gentleman in the audience who grabs the microphone and he's like, I've got a question for you, Mackenzie. Like I've been in the print industry for 35 years. How do I attract and retain new talent? Like as it relates to mental health, like what is important to you guys? What do I have to focus on to make sure that we're grabbing great new talent? And I was so proud of her. She looks at him and very confidently says, you guys need to catch up with us. Like, we're not afraid to talk about our feelings. We're not afraid to say that we need help. We're not afraid to say we need to set boundaries. And I was like, I grabbed her arm and I'm like, oh my God, I love you. Like, this is great. This is exactly what we need to hear, right? Is like, because we're all going to phase out at some point in the next, X amount of years. Like, we're not getting any younger, but like, this next generation of talent, like we need to not only to be good humans, to make sure that we're taking care of our people, but like, if you want to attract from a business standpoint, if you want to attract and retain new talent, like this is what they give a shit about. And so like you really need to make sure that you're focusing in on it. I mean, if you don't even care about mental health and wellness and you care only about your business, which like you're kind of not a cool person if you don't care about people's wellness, right? But like if that is your focus, you need to kind of consider this is important to your words.
So wait, when you say, even if you don't care about mental health and you care about your business, like everything else, you're going to have to suck it up and take on the mental health because it's a big issue today. So even if you don't believe in it, you're going to do it. But when you mentioned that you were talking to someone and the person stood up and said, how do I retain young people? It made me think about a conversation I had with an older gentleman. It's funny when I say older because I'm getting older. And he said to me, like, why can't I keep young people? And I said, stop talking to them. I said, because you go in and you talk to them, but you never go back. So you have a great first conversation where you think you're saying the stuff they want to hear, but then you're not following up with it. And if there's one thing I've learned from the younger generation, even in listening to my kids, is the older generation will say that they don't want to work as hard or they're as lazy. I like to think of it as they figured out that they don't have to work 7 days a week anymore, and that they should work less time, because we're not on this planet to work for somebody or ourselves 7 days a week and not see our kids grow up and not participate in those, moments that elevate us. If you're always at work, because even if you're an employer, you got to figure out with your team, hey guys, girls, when your kids have events at schools, let us know. We're going to try to schedule so that you could be there, because we're missing dinners. And anyways, it all leads back to that health thing in the mind, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the younger generation certainly is better at setting boundaries than we are. And we need to take notes because we don't have them. So yes, I agree with you. And I think that young talent is attracted to culture. And I think that at the end of the day is the most important thing. And part of culture is caring about your people. Yeah. And so if your people aren't okay, neither is your business.
And they've been talking about culture in your business for decades already. And it always amazes me about how slow some people are to adapt any culture. But the more fun you have in your place, the more you'll get out of everybody. Call it what you want. Everyone will be more fulfilled.
But I don't think that there's a formula to culture. I think you either have it or you don't. I don't think that yes, you implement programs and you do there's that component to it, but I feel like it's genuinely people, because you can have somebody who implements all of these great programs and policies and has company lunches and does all these things, but at the end of the day, if they're not easy to talk to, or if you don't genuinely feel connected to them or them connected to you, then you're still not breeding a culture that is attractive. Like, you can have all of these incentives and these things, but you're still not emulating it yourself. And so I don't think you can, there are those physical parts to it, yes, but like it all boils down to like who you are as a person and as a leader that is attractive.
Everything starts at the top. Everything starts at the top and rolls down.
Yes.
And, when I had my place, we had I believe we had a great culture, but I'm a little biased. But no, but Friday mornings I'd pick up fresh bagels, and we had 120 employees, and I'd walk in with bagels, and even though you're not supposed to have them in the plant, walk around with hot, warm bagels and say good morning to everyone. Hot
Yep.
days, ice cream,
That's
walk
so
around,
important.
walk in every morning, say hello, walk up to random people at different times just for how you do in conversation, let them know that you exist.
That's so,
I don't know how you not do it.
but there are people that don't. And so, you know,
Then they should listen to people like us, because that's not, because it's, or ask the people in your place, what would you like us to do to make it more enjoyable?
or look at your turnover rate, right? If you have people that don't stay, I mean, I think the tenure and the longevity of your employees says a lot about your culture. I mean, if you have people that are only there for a couple of years and then they peace out, then, there's something to be said about that versus a company that has people who've stayed for 20 years and 30 years. Whether or not they're comfortable and they're complacent and, there is a different story, but they're staying for a reason. So,
Yeah. So if you're listening, just, take the extra step, notice your people, talk to them, ask them how they feel, ask them what'll make them happy.
give a
We-
sheet.
Yeah. Put out we used to put out a suggestion box, but I would pay for the suggestions, right?
You would pay for the feedback.
Yeah, because how do you get people engaged? Not everyone wants to do it. So we set up a box, and I said to everyone, put in suggestions. I want to give $100 to the best suggestion every week. I want to take the list and put down what the suggestions are and what's possible to look at and what's not, because a lot of people have no idea or don't understand running a business, and you have to have a 360-degree view of the whole business. You can't just do things for one. And I remember the first week, I went in to, got the box, went in the back, and there was like a few suggestions. And I said to everyone, you know what? This week, before I start, anyone who put a suggestion in gets $100 cash. And now we're going to look at the best suggestion, because you're going to get another $100. And then the next week I gave out, just to encourage people to come out of their shell. Don't put your name on it. Don't want to know who did it. Just, I want thoughts, because your people know more about your place than you do and what's going on and what makes it tick.
Yep. No, I agree.
So that's one idea just for anyone who's listening. Pay for the ideas. And what's $100? Nothing. They make bigger mistakes in a second if they cut the wrong paper, put it in the wrong paper, or waste too much. So anyways, very cool. Anything that I could do to promote Cheat for Brains, just you ask, I'm happy to do.
Yeah, you've been a wonderful supporter, Warren, and we appreciate you. You're always there.
Try. That's all you could do.
Thank you.
All right, next topic. Next topic's a big topic. Next topic's a big topic. So you used to be on the other side. And when I say the other side, me being a printer, always a printer, you were a vendor.
I was.
And you jumped ship.
I did jump ship.
So how long were you on the other side?
I was with GPA for just over 8 years. As their director.
I'll give them a little plug. Great company, by the way.
Fantastic company. No, there's no bad blood there. None whatsoever.
Oh, no, I'm saying from my perspective of what I know, great company. Good to know there's no bad blood, because who needs it?
There's no bad blood. No, there's no bad blood at all. I mean, listen, Blooming Color is one of their biggest partners and their best partners. And so it's kind of like an extension of GPA infused into Blooming Color now. And so
now they have the inside person.
Yeah, the inside knowledge now.
Sales should go up for GPA.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I was with them for just over 8 years as their director of marketing. So not necessarily sales, but marketing touches sales and sales touches marketing. So I feel like they're kind of, dual functioning and cohesive that way. Yeah, other side. I mean, I literally was here for 5 days, and then I went and Sheet for Brains did some stuff at Corneat last week or earlier this week. And so this is day 6 for me here. But I've been a massive fan of this place and these people for years. We talk about culture. They have an incredible culture. They care about their people. They care about the work that they do. They're growing like nobody's business. And I'm just super excited to be a part of that. A lot more customer facing. And for me, I mean, we've known each other for quite some time. Like, I need to be with people. And not that I wasn't in my former capacity, but I get to be with more people now.
Different.
It's different. It's just different. And so I'm excited to learn more. I feel like I've got my arms around a lot of it, but there's so much on the other side that's different than this position here. So I'm excited to learn, but I'm also excited to bring what I know about the vendor side of it and the manufacturing of the product side of it to this. So I couldn't be more excited to be.
What was the process in your brain when you were thinking of going? Because they are so different,
So different.
right?
I don't know that my brain like did some processing. I knew that I loved this place and these people and what they were doing, and it was just time for me to explore something a little different. Again, no bad blood anywhere. GPA taught me so much. I mean, my goodness, I've learned so much from that organization and those people, and it was hard to leave there because there were, I grew to be great friends with so many people within that organization. But I feel like I didn't go very far, like physically and like within the industry, like didn't go that far. And so it was a very easy decision for me, I think. That next challenge of growth and understanding a different segment of the business and bringing what I can to it to help it grow even more.
No, it's good. I remember when, excuse me, people used to come to me and, want to give me notice because they were leaving and they were going to do something else. And it's always a sad moment, especially when you've been working with someone for so long. But I always remember telling them, oh my God, like, I'm thrilled for you.
Yes.
I said, like, because you get to expand, you get to see. I said, one of the disadvantages of being an owner is I'm stuck here. I can't go anywhere, even if I wanted to go somewhere.
I mean, there's always a choice, Warren. There's always a choice.
Right. But it was to encourage them and to let them know,
Sure.
good move. You never want to hold anyone back from any
No.
opportunity. And I always said to the good people, like, hey, if it doesn't work the way you expected, then you can call me back because the door is always open.
Oh, I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, why would you close the door on anybody leaving because they went to better themselves?
Right. Right.
Everyone's got to worry about their own house and their own families. And if you could have a better life, better quality, whatever, less time in the car, more money on the table, whatever it is, it's not for me to judge or do any of that.
And I think a part of the icing on the cake, I think for me, was their genuine belief and encouragement and wanting and willingness to help make Sheet for Brains as successful as it can be. It's not even a question. This is coming with you. We are so like, we so believe in the mission and the initiative, and like this is part of what we want you to continue to build, and however, Blooming Color supports it, we're here for it. And so for me, because you know how important that is to me, it was like, shoot, like, how do you say no to that?
Well, what does that say about them to begin with?
Volumes.
Right? Like, just if you want to talk about culture, and then
It's huge.
and then coming in there, I mean, the value you're going to add just to their own staff with the the Sheet for Brains concept and the discussions and the conversations.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's something that they want to heavily infuse into, the language and the culture here. I mean, the culture that is already amazing and wonderful. I mean, you walk in here and, not only do you have tenure, but you have people who like genuinely want to be here and they want to work hard for their leadership team because their leadership team works hard for them. And they care. Like I've seen it firsthand. You see, I mean, Rosemary and Brian and Ray, everybody, they're out on the press floor and they're having conversations at desks and in offices. They're hands-on. They know something about every single person in this organization. And not just like they have brown hair, like know something about them.
No
and
hair.
like, or no hair, but they breed positive culture. And so Sheet for Brains feels like an extension of that and just kind of adding a little bit more to what already exists. It feels very symbiotic. So it just felt right.
So you made me think of another person, the late Larry Kendall. And I've mentioned this before, but it's so important because when I went to his plant, and it was a label company, and unbelievable, like 100 years, 3 generations. And he was giving me a tour of the facility. And as we were walking around, he knew every single person by name on the floor. We would stop at a label press, and he would speak with the pressman, and he would say, hey, Fred, how you doing? He goes, how long have you been here? How's Maggie? How's whatever? And he was talking to me, and I was just blown away. And it just encouraged me to continue and do more when I went back to my place, because I was watching the reaction of his employee,
Sure.
not the reaction of the interaction
Hmm.
when they were talking, and it was like that was just not boss and
No.
employee. That
No.
was respect for each other.
Yep.
And I also realized after when I started doing more of that at the offices, it's important for your employees to know and speak with the customers too. So to bring in
Yeah.
as many as you can, to bring them around, to show them,
Yes.
to say to them, hey, why don't you ask Fred a question that you wanted to know this?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're letting the people that work with you know that you're proud of them and you're happy to have them interact with the client.
Yeah, but you're also seeing the impact from the employee standpoint, right? You're also seeing the impact that your work that you're doing every day, how it affects that end user and how important it is that you do a good job, because look at how proud they are to work with you with what you've done to help create whatever it is that they're buying from you. So it's in both ways. It's important for, it's important for the people that, the end users and the customers and the clients, but it's also important for that press operator or that, pre-production manager to see where their work is ending up and how that affects the outcome.
Yeah. And when the customer says thank you to them, they all of a sudden have more pride
Yeah,
in what they're doing.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, we used to also, want to include them in video and get them on screen.
Yes.
I've been saying to some people, like, in your company, why don't you pick, choose, ask who wants to, whatever. Let them do some of your social media videos on their own of what they like, what makes them happy, what makes them proud. On their own account, they could tag the company and share it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, some of the younger people who are a little more, interactive with these things now have another part and they could take pride in what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And outwardly, it expresses what your culture is and what it means and how great it is. So it's
And the payback
leverage. Yeah.
is huge.
The ROI, it's insane.
And I'm just thinking of it this second, but if you're having some of the younger people do it and they're putting it out on their networks also, we're now entertaining a whole new group of people into our industry.
Yep.
That otherwise would not know. I had someone on a podcast the other day, and it'll be out soon. Sheila, the print nerd. She goes to the University of Toronto. She's in the graphics course. I even suggested her to Printing United, and she's out there making videos at different places, factories, print factories she's been to, the printing in school, the book, the poster on the wall.
So cool.
And talking about it. And there's other students at some of the, I don't remember the names, but some of the universities or schools that have the print programs. And, we got to get them to do more and more, or ask them, encourage them, because at the same time, we're selling a younger group of buyers. So I always kind of chuckle. Well, I don't really chuckle. I get mad when I talk to, when you talk to older people and you go on, or I was talking to a group of people in sales, and I went to the meeting, and I before I went, I looked at all their LinkedIn, and I got to the meeting. Well, I got to the meeting and I said, you brought me in to talk about sales, but I'm going to be honest with you. After looking at all your LinkedIn's, none of you are ready to be in sales.
How did that go over?
It was quiet at first.
I imagine.
No, but my thinking was this. First of all, everyone knows LinkedIn is where people go to look for information or find people. How do people not have their contact information on LinkedIn? If someone's going to click on contact, you want them instantly to be able to get you. Your real email, your company website, even your cell number. There's no secrets anymore out there, right? Everything is everywhere. So don't fight it. And none of them had it. A couple of people had Gmail. If you have a Gmail email on your LinkedIn contact sheet, you're looking for another job, and I don't want to deal with you, right? Or I go onto their abouts, and how easy is it to make your about today with AI look good about, who you are. It's not about the company, the about. Your page is about you. So write what you do, and they don't do that. And I said to them, what do you do when you see a prospective client? You're going to go to their website. You're going to go to their LinkedIn page.
Yep.
You don't think the buyers are doing the same
thing for you. Yep, absolutely.
So you're killing yourself.
The first thing people do is look you up on LinkedIn.
Right. And then, some say, well, it's not how I do it. I said, well, that's why you shouldn't be in sales, because
Well, that's why you're not going to last.
it's the new way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So it's just, anyways, people have to be more aware, think openly, outwardly, and be a little reflective on, what they're putting out there for people to see. Because the more you put out, people get a feel of who you are. It's more the people you want to deal with than the companies these days.
Again, culture, right? In that, like, you're an example of the culture that you come from. And so what the content that you put out there about yourself is reflective of the kind of company that you're going to work with. But ultimately, you're working with a person. That person's not happy, if that person's not satisfied, if that person, is there just to collect a paycheck and is not going to elevate, amplify the message and the core values of the company that you work for, then
out the door.
Yeah.
Out the door.
Yeah.
Because I have memory relapse and all that other stuff, I'm going to go back to Sheets for Brain for a minute.
Yes.
What I remember on one of the calls was, and there was a bunch of people, was one lady spoke up about being grateful for the call that was happening and was talking about her own personal place and said, I've never said that out loud before. And when she said that, I immediately got goosebumps, because I think I'm just super sensitive to people, where they're at and what they're doing, just because of my own stuff.
Yeah.
And you just, and anyways, that just left me goosebumps and speechless, and so happy for her, because I know that feeling when you let something out that you've been holding or you haven't told anyone.
Yeah. It's pretty remarkable. And I will tell you that after every either online session or the live events and panels that we've had, or discussions, I cry. Maybe I just cry too much, but I cry after every single one of them for a multitude of reasons. But because there's someone in every single one of those sessions, and we're, our thing is we're for the one. We're not trying to build this like millions and millions of people following us. Like, that's not what our goal is. Our goal is to find one person. If that one person can feel more connected, feel more supported, feel like there's a weight lifted from their shoulders because they found something in this community, then we've done our jobs. And, you get a lot of resistance to that from people who just don't understand it. And so it's like, hey, we're not for everyone. We're for the one. And that kind of like, some people, well, what do you mean you're not for everybody? Well, we're not for everyone. We're for the one. And if you're that one today, we've done what we came out to do. But in every session, there is someone, whether in person or online, who has that kind of aha moment, right? Like she did on that webinar, that session. And when we were in Denver, there was a whole room full of those aha moments. And I didn't have waterproof mascara on, and it was beautiful. Like, there were people who have been in the industry for 30 years who were grabbing the microphone and talking about challenges and struggles that they've faced, and how refreshing it was to be able to feel comfortable enough to say it out loud. And sharing stories more in that, like, you talk to a therapist about, and the support that those people felt in that moment was exactly what we're doing this for. And I don't even have words.
No, well, first of all, I think everybody should have a therapist. Personally,
I agree.
You need a therapist before you need a wife, but you need a therapist before you need a husband. It just helps align you.
I'm not disagreeing with
certain things.
I'm a massive advocate
right?
for therapy. No,
in sitting down and starting my thing, actually, I was a life coach who, by far, best person I've ever met in my life, and comes with the right experience. But first thing I learned was your thoughts become your beliefs become your habits. And one never thought about it before. And I learned like 80% of our bad thoughts are what's spin in our head. And I learned the simple technique to making them stop spinning. And all she said to me was, ask yourself right away, is that true? And the minute you say it's not true, you could move on, right? I had another person who used to say to me, I say to him, how do you stop that? And he said, just say, stop. I said, what are you kidding me? And then I find myself in the car. And when I went back to him the next week, I was like, oh my God, that worked. I said 175 times. I said, stop in the car. I finally got the hang of it. Thank you. But it's little things that could make minor adjustments that could change the whole weight that a person carries.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to your point earlier, being able to say the things that you're keeping inside out loud and like just getting them off of your chest and out of your head and verbalizing it. And sometimes some of those things are the hardest things to say, and things that you don't want to say because you feel ashamed or you're scared or you feel like someone's going to judge you. And I'm going to plug therapy, but therapy is that space that is a non-judgmental, like that. They are here to listen to your darkest, deepest secrets and demons, and without judgment, And so I don't know how you don't have a space like that, because you can't carry that all yourself, and you can't expect your partner or your friends or somebody, your close people to carry that either. Glenn Packiam has done a few sessions for us. He did one virtual, and then he's done 2 live sessions for us. One recently at Cornette, the other one at D-Scoop this past March. One of the things he talks about is that everyone needs a constellation. That, if you only have one North Star, you only have one perspective, and you're lost because you can't, you need more. And all of those stars in that constellation serve different purposes. You need, and I'm going to get you, I will send this to you because it is so, when he shows the image of who in the constellation is necessary. It's kind of like you need that close friend, right? That pumps you up, and you need that person that says no to you, like that can say no to you, that will say no to you. You need that person that's like a therapist, like somebody who's not connected to you personally, but is that person that, serves as like an objector.
An outsider,
right? But like a professional. And then you need, like these, I can't remember what he called them, but it's like you need these people on your outer orbit that like you don't see every day, but kind of come into your life when you need them and give you these pieces of wisdom and nuggets of, of motivation and encouragement. And so it's like you need all of these people, but like that therapist is one that is not connected to you on a personal level, but you share everything with and provides insight that those other people probably won't give to you.
Well, so, your friends will tell you what you want to hear to feel better.
Not good friends.
Well, not feel better, but comfort you because they don't always know what you're talking about, right?
Yes,
so just from where you're coming from, on the therapist side, I'll add in that you need to make sure that you connect with your therapist. Just because you're going to go to a therapist doesn't mean they're the right one for you.
Absolutely.
Right? So
you got to find them.
Very, very important.
You'll know when you find them.
Yeah, you'll just feel comfortable when you're talking.
Yeah.
And then for those who've never been, I will tell you just how light you feel and amazing, maybe after not the first session because you're getting used to it, but after a couple sessions, it's a weight comes off of you.
Yeah. No,
right?
I agree completely.
And they're not just going to tell you what you want to hear. They'll make some good real life suggestions on little tweaks even in your life that you could make that make the biggest changes.
Yeah. They allow you to think in a different way and challenge your thought process and, kind of make you question. And that's when you know you have a good therapist, is when you do feel a little uncomfortable because they're making you think in a different way, but making you think in a different way to grow. So you don't have to, I'm preaching to the choir, like everybody sign up.
No, well, you know what? That's kind of what you have to do because people have to listen. And there's certain books that you could read that are small with big fonts and not a lot of pages. If you got a little ADHD, that could help you get along because too much information at once is no good either.
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So little tidbits and little pieces of it is pretty good. Okay, back to blooming color. So what exactly are you going to do there?
So my new role is Director of Brand and Strategic Growth. So it's, a lot of people know the leadership here, right? It's Rosemarie and Brian and Ray, but let's bring more visibility to the brand and what they do and, the impacts that they have in the industry and in the marketplace. So it's a lot of that. It's building brand awareness. It's helping them create strategy to grow that brand because everybody knows about everybody's top 3 or 4 customers, but like, what are our other capabilities and how do we expand that business and how do we grow that so that they could potentially be as big as some of these bigger brands, right? So, that's me now.
Okay, cool. So, just because I'm a printer and they're a printer, why don't we give them a little plug and tell me and my million listeners, what do they do? Like, what's their specialty or what do they focus on? And we already know what they believe in, their customers and their people, but tell us about Blooming and really what they do.
Yeah. So, and again, I'm learning a whole lot here, but their majority of the business is e-commerce, right? So like Canva, Minted, like all of these, but they're a trade printer. And so there's everything I honestly, they just opened a new facility in Louisville, Kentucky that I get to go visit in a couple weeks, which I'm super excited about, which their footprint physically is a little bit larger than here we're just outside of Chicago. We're in Lombard, Illinois. But they're the largest HP Indigo house in the Midwest, clearly largely connected to D-Scoop. I feel like Rosemary's like the queen of D-Scoop in the HP community at this
Certainly
point.
very colorful. I like that. She's always in good color.
Listen, I am not mad about the pink. I know.
No, pink's my favorite color, but so it works.
Green
Perfect.
is mine. So, but they work well together, so it works out. But no, listen, they're an HP Indigo house. They have a whole bunch of finishing equipment. Everything from bindery to some embellishment equipment. And so they do, they genuinely do everything. Part of what my job is to take that list of equipment and those list of capabilities and bring more awareness to the capabilities of what we can do. So I'm still learning that, but there's not a job that they'll say no to. I will tell you that. No is not vocabulary.
Are they a digital shop or a full conventional digital?
Full digital shop. Yep.
So what's their maximum sheet size? Do you know yet?
B2. They have B2 presses here. They also have some wide format equipment that they dabble in. The wide format's not a massive part of the business, but something where there's a lot of potential with the existing clients and some opportunities there too. But yeah, they have a B2 press. They have a couple of HP Indigo 100Ks as well as some other HP Indigos. I know that I don't want to speak out of turn, so I'm not going to talk about any of the other presses because I don't want to say the wrong things. But digital, we're a digital house.
Well, and how many employees do they have working there?
About 100.
More than enough.
More than enough. Yeah, I'm trying to get to know everybody.
My name, of course.
Can we all wear name tags for the first 2 months so that I can?
No, and by the way, that's a great idea. Even when I go out to some events, I'm like, everyone should have a name tag because we all meet so many people and, you remember some people remember you by name. And then you don't have to do that, pretend like, hey, buddy, what's happening?
I know.
Everybody's a buddy.
Not awkward at all. Not awkward at all.
No, exactly. Cool. Wow. So you sound like you have a lot to do now.
But it's exciting and I'm excited to do it. I want to do it because I so believe in what is happening here and the people and the leadership. And so I'm encouraged by their support and belief in me to help grow. So I'm incredibly motivated.
No, it's great because when you're motivated and you're into something, it just makes it not work.
Exactly. Yes.
Right?
This is fun. How many people can say that they enjoy going to work and they love what they do? There are not a whole lot of people that can say that.
I do, but I work at home, so it's easy.
I know, but but even working at home, some people who work at home hate what they're doing. So it's a rare treat, and it shouldn't be a rare treat, but it's a rare treat when you find something you love and you're passionate about, and you're doing it with people that are equally as passionate, and give a shit about each other and what you're doing and how you're doing it. And so I feel very, very lucky to be in this position.
It's people helping people. Without people, nothing happens.
Exactly right.
Right. Everything, life's pretty simple.
Mic drop. There you go. Your mic drop. That's it.
Did it? No, everything's pretty simple. We just make it more complicated.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Wow. Cool. So good little conversation. Anything you want to add that you didn't add or say already?
Gosh, I don't think so, Warren. I feel like we covered a whole lot today. I don't think so. Just pay attention to blooming, pay attention to Sheet for Brains.
And keep buying paper from GPA.
No, I think, I don't know. This was great. I always love catching up with you.
Cool. Well, if you think of anything, we could always do it again.
Okay, great. Well, let's do it again anyway. Let's make the trifecta of podcasts.
Yeah, and you just listen, you have the link, just pick a time and
Perfect.
It shows up and then we do it.
Love it.
Awesome.
Love it.
So for all the people listening, I hope you really enjoyed today's conversation. I think we touched on things that are primarily one thing, mental health, pretty important every day. And it's not just about print. It's about everyone around you, your family, your kids, your friends, people that you work with. Just be more aware, be less judgmental and more caring and concerning. Other than that, I got nothing else to add other than, because you always got to add something. If you want to hear something, let me know. If you want to be on, let me know. If you want me to talk about something that you don't want to talk about, let me know. And I'm good to do all that. Otherwise, I appreciate everybody for all of your listening, all your support, and just being around. So until the next time, Jessica, always a pleasure.
Likewise, Warren.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.